Okay, we will call the meeting back to order at 6:27 p.m. Just completed the fleet replacement policy and we're moving on to agenda item 4.4, which is the golf simulator replacement.
Yeah, I'd like to declare a conflict and I will be excusing myself from any discussion and vote, and I'll be leaving until it is concluded.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, with that, we will turn this over to administration.
Thank you, Chair, to the rest of the committee. So we have received a request from the Hinton Golfing Society in relation to a unbudgeted expense related to their golf simulator. Their golf simulator is no longer working, and they are looking to purchase a new one for approximately $31,000. As part of that purchase, they are requesting the town provide authorization to pull $15,000 out of the golf course reserve to assist in funding that purchase for them. This is in alignment with the golf course agreement. The Hinton Golfing Society does remit funding every year under the new agreement to the reserves. So we do have funding there for when they need it for any capital purchases. So there is $25,000 currently in the golf course reserve. They are requesting council authorization to pull $15,000 from it. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Well, just a quick comment, and this was a discussion had earlier, but I think it's important to recognize that that money is not taxpayer money that's been generated by the golf course, and they're asking for that reserve to be used for this purpose, so.
So I just want to clarify, the total is 31,000 to administration. So the difference is coming from the sale of their current simulator. Did I get that right?
Through the chair, that's correct. So they will get a little bit of money for the sale of the current one. I believe they were going to put in a little bit of money, fix it, and then sell it. And then they were going to purchase the new one, and the remainder would come from the Hinton Golfing Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, committee? Councilor Dunn.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that committee direct administration to bring the discussion about funding the purchase of a new golf simulator from the golf course reserve to the next regular meeting of council. And that's based on the information that they provided. The simulator is used very often. And yeah, I just think they need to have it replaced.
Speaking in favor of that, I did think it's good to see something that could be utilized out of season as well. I like that. I'll look at some longer season times and different things. Okay, anything further from council? Seeing no hands up, I will call to question that committee direct administration to bring the discussion about funding the purchase of a new golf simulator from the Hinton Golf Course Reserve to the next regular meeting of council. Let's vote now.
I'll vote in favor. Got the boot.
All right, and that is carried unanimously with Councillor McLean abstaining due to great. Is the Councillor McLean coming back?
I'll go down.
Okay.
Are we letting them back? We vote.
All right, so that concludes our reports from administration, section 4. Now we are on to section 5, which is reporting. Council reports, and I will start with Councillor Dunn.
Great, thank you. So I attended the library meeting yesterday. Couple things I'd like to point out. The library manager has been asked to join the Emergency Coordination Center as an alternate number 2 for the emergency social services. And they will be receiving the appropriate training such as basic emergency management and incident command system 100, 200, and 300. And also the YRL, which is the Yellowhead Regional Library, has been made aware that there may be amendments to the Library Act that could put restrictions on what we can have in our collections, in our book collections. So we're waiting for more information on that. There may be an opportunity to approach the MLA. That's what the municipalities were encouraged to do, to discuss this, by waiting for information from YRL first.
Counselor Charlton.
I recently attended the Community Futures Board meeting that last Thursday. And it's interesting to hear the concerns amongst different municipalities. It's also nice to be able to meet some of the other counselors that are attending the Community Futures meetings and kind of the situations that they have within their municipalities. You know, even though we're all the same, we're all quite different as well. And nice to be able to get to meet some of the other counselors. So and Community Futures is really quite diverse, like it really takes you full circle. So I'm enjoying the learning. I've got lots to learn. But yeah, it's been great so far. And then, of course, the majority of us attended the local authorities, elected officials course. Yes, that actually really brought quite a bit of light to me and what that all means. So it was great. It was very well done. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Very good.
Yeah, I just like to reach out to administration, and say thanks for a job well done. I think it was it was concise. We got over it in the morning and it covered really important things. So I enjoyed the day.
Counselor McDonald.
Nothing to report.
Counselor Nelson.
Yeah, so I too was at Community Futures, really looking forward to seeing, there's finally gonna be change within Community Futures. It might be positive, it might be negative, but it's a program that's been status quo for quite a long time. Some of the federal guidance makes it really tricky for Community Futures, you know, talking about border security and things like that, that is really difficult for a local agency that's not on a border to kind of think of how your terms of reference could incorporate that. And yeah, with the emergency planning session, I did it 8 years ago and it was just our council and it was very hypothetical. I greatly appreciate that we pulled together our neighbors that have been through that, you know, they can share some lived experiences with how challenging it is, but any opportunity to gather, you know, whether it's through a committee, whether it's through training to gather our neighbors together, I think is so important for the region. And it's not something that typically happened in my first term. And the amount of learning we get out of that, you know, sharing a coffee with an Edson councillor, or Jasper councillor, or Yellowhead County goes a long way into helping the region be better. And it's really stood out as something different this go around for me. So thank you.
And it's no longer hypothetical.
Not at all. It's crazy. Thank you.
Counselor McLean.
No, nothing to report.
For myself, Counselor McDonald and I have attended, I was virtual, he was in person, at the Historical Society meeting on Wednesday. And, lots of discussion around some good things. They've completed most of their strategic plan ahead of time, so strategic plan is supposed to go until 2027. And so discussions were, you know, with the 10-year anniversary coming up soon and some different things, should they look at getting into strategic planning earlier to kind of move that ahead, so pretty good problem to have. They're making some headway as well, just talking about things like capital reserves, you know, storage for the collections, much different things like that, which will kind of always be an ongoing thing. As well as they struck a bit of a smaller committee within a couple of the board members to review some human resources policies. Again, as they're getting some summer students and different things, they're getting to the point that, you know, they need to be reviewing some of those items, as well as the performance evaluation review of the manager at the site. So they're moving ahead well there. It was a good meeting and that's all I have to report. So, CAO.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have much to report, but you do have your new and improved and consolidated council action pending list at in the back of your agenda. Starting on page 82 of 88, that's the council action complete list. It's at the top left-hand corner, but it's not very apparent there, but those are where you'll see the motions that have been rescinded. So many of those are not lost. They will, continue to be there. We have access to them, but our new council action pending and current direction to administration has been consolidated by council significantly. So, but if there's any questions on this or anything else, I'll be happy to answer.
Lee, any questions on anything on the list? Quite familiar with it now, Madam Clerk?
I guess, and I don't know why this didn't occur to me when I looked at this the first time, but on the last page where they run down, there's a bunch of options that the committee reached consensus directed to explore private modular home. This is addressing the land of Bhutan. So it's 3798, 99, and 3800, well, 3801 as well. Now, those are pretty specific directions on that land, but like we're gonna have a housing, it's the last page there,
In the pending.
sorry, it's on page. Where's the page number here? Oh. 76. No. 75. Of the 82.
Page 4 of the council action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a housing, there's not. I guess my question is, we're not expending a bunch of energy on that right now, correct?
No, through the chair and members of the committee. So this came out because we did look at, really, it was just a massing diagram. So it was just examples on the land so we could look at the general layout and how much room it could be. Council had made some specific motions on that. Some will affect the footprint of what we were looking at, some won't. But we're not moving forward with any designs or anything like that. That was just to help inform really a massing diagram, which is essentially, what's the general layout that we could look at? How many could we fit on the lot? It's at a very high level right now. There'll certainly be input when it comes to the design of the units, all of those kinds of stuff. We're just not there. But this is, the direction was a little bit ahead of its time. But some of it may have affected, how many properties we could have fit on there.
Okay, good, thanks, because I know we're gonna have a larger discussion, so.
So is that something then that we would be discussing at the housing assessment meeting?
Correct, through the chair. I just, to manage expectations, we are not at the design phase yet. Really, we're at, we want to look at the models. We want to look at, the potential design of the lot itself, not necessarily the units. We want to look at all of those different variables, the demand analysis of what should we build, all of those kinds of things we're going to talk about, and then, who's going to do it and what they're going to look like are two of those big key variables that council needs to decide on. So all of those designs, I wouldn't worry too much about it. That will be coming, and council can have their input and from there.
Councilor McLean?
Yeah, to that note, we talked about Chang land before, Pine Valley. But there was somebody that was hired from the town to do some of that work, and there was last council, I think, designated one corner of it that they would like to keep for high density or whatever. And then the rest of it was to look at, I guess, no step, barrier free sort of type of housing and stuff like that. So this, I guess, nothing's imposed upon us, right? Those are just suggestions that are types of things that could go on that land.
Yeah, through the chair. I wouldn't say suggestions, I would say it's direction, but direction is that, council can change directions. It's not that is not a one-way door, right? We made the decision made to look at that design. It's just a preliminary design at this point. We absolutely can start, looking at different designs, different bases, all sorts of things without, huge amounts of expenses or time. But that's what we're moving forward with right now. And if we want to, council authorizes it and they're happy with the current configuration, then we'd be going down that extra layer.
All the drawings in pencil. at this
It's in
point.
pencil, it's not in pen, absolutely. Yeah.
Like. Councilor Becker?
So to administration, so what will it take to start talking about that?
Through the chair, we are planning a workshop for February tenth or 11th.
The 11th is, the 10th is the great.
On
After the-
February 10th, we are going to be discussing what came out of that meeting, which was a demand analysis, which was one of the key components to move the file forward. So we're gonna have the consultants talk about the demand analysis, then we're going to just talk about kind of the full picture when it comes to housing, because there's a lot of little pieces that are somewhat interrelated, so we're gonna talk about everything the next day.
Thank you.
Mayor Bear?
So that I understand, like, we're gonna talk about that report, but the whole housing thing's gonna go to strategic plan.
That's my expectation.
Okay,
I
thank
think it would be a major topic of strategic planning.
Yeah, and just historically, like, these motions that were coming out of that first. The review was kind of focused on life lease and some of these different options that had been thrown around, so it was really kind of a test fit of what does that land look like? What may or may not work there, and those motions kind of came out of that, leading to, we really need to do the study to see what does the housing in Hinton look like next steps, so. All right, anything else on the action pending or completed list? I know I was happy to still see those, I didn't think those rescinded motions would show up in that fashion on the report, so I was happy to see that they're just not totally gone. I think it's still good that they're there for a reference, so I appreciated that. There's nothing further. Nothing else.
I'll move to the adjourn.
You made too many motions tonight.
Just be happy
to make
one good one.
All right, so that committee adjourned the meeting at 6:44 p.m. Please vote now.
Voting against, just for that. Somebody else who made it.
Stay here.
All right, so that is carried unanimously.
Mm.